let's get right into it. I'm going to begin by finishing up the beginning, the intro to the game. So first I delete the name because I want the person to be able to choose their own. I'm going to eventually delete the graphics so you can also choose that. And that way I don't have to worry about making it invisible while doing the intro. Instead, since you don't have a graphic, it won't show up at all. I'm going to check a few things just to make sure that I still remember what I had done before, and then I'll get into it. I want to give the guards a voice line. I want these people to move. So Solitaire is actually going to walk into the portal. I want him to disappear, and then the guard will say good riddance. The problem I ran into doing this is I had to play with the portals layer and Solitaire's because I wanted him to get up to it, pause, and then go through. But if he paused too close to the event, it actually cut off the top of his head since I have the portal on the top layer. So I had to switch that. After playtesting it to make sure it works, I'm going to add just a few more details to the map so it feels more real, like a place you could be. If that is good. He gets in. Then he disappears. Okay. It transfers before it fades all the way because I don't have a weight on it. This doesn't matter because you don't have a setup yet, so we're just going to set a weight on this. As far as placing objects go, I tend to just click them, click a spot. Wait, why are you layered like this? Why? Why? Because only these ones connect to the actual river. But then it just... I don't know why. It's fine. It's fine. I'll just do it like this. Now you won't even tell. See? Nobody will know. Except anyone who watches this if I publish it, but nobody will know. So I'm just adding a couple more details to the map, but I actually find it funny, and I noticed during recording, and I would mention it, that nobody would ever see that bottom part because of how I have the camera and it doesn't scroll. Then I'm adding a couple more people. These would have been coworkers or friends that were also put through the portal with him. There's a bunch of lore reasons for this, but most of them aren't important to the game, and my recording got really rambly, so I just cut it out. But basically, there was a war, and they lost, so they were banished here. And there's not a lot of magic, so they're kind of stuck for the time being. So you can see I play this several times over and over to make sure they're standing where I want them to, so they're going where I want them to, and just making sure it looks nice. This is technically, I will do everything I can, one of the researchers responding to Solitaire, but I don't want to label them, so I actually don't care who it's read as, because if you read it all as Solitaire's lines, then it still makes sense, so... I'm just going to leave it like that. I playtest it and it looks great, so we'll move on to the next map next. I named the map Hometown. You don't have to be creative with this. People make maps in different ways, but for me, I like to do the ground, any background, so in this case the farming town has a wall around the whole thing, and then I like to do the roads, and I will put the roads where the houses are and then build the house after. This just helps me get a general feel of where I want things and where things are going to lie, so it helps me set up the houses and everything beforehand, so it kind of fits into a whole town. You can do this differently if you would like, or you can do the same. I just like to do roads before houses. This is a farming town, so I'm making sure that there are plenty of farming plots where you could put different crops. I like to put the dirt on the first layer and then the crops on the second, except for the outside parts, it has a little bit of white, so it would actually go through into the map's picture in the background, and I don't want that to happen. So those are in second layer, but everything else, as much as possible, is on first, because then crops can go second, and then anything else can go on third. So if I want a scarecrow, or I don't know, I was going to say something else, but I've only ever put scarecrows there. So whatever you want. Going to add a bunch of details, little rocks, wood piles, trees. This is a place where people live, and it's not just an empty field. I was thinking about adding a gate to the fence where I'm going to have some animals, but I couldn't figure it out, so I didn't put one there. I do houses almost the exact same way every single time. I do the outside walls, and then I do a floor and a back wall. Sometimes there'll be little variations, but otherwise this is the basic house. And with that, I'm going to wrap it up for this episode, and see you in the next one. Good night, day, evening, whenever. Eat well, sleep well, and drink lots of water. Bye!